We are live, Mel, and this is
All right.
C.D.S.P Ghost Chaser and Spirit Seekers St. Patrick's Day special. So welcome everybody. I hope you, if you're not watching it tonight, you'll watch it tomorrow. 'Cause tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, and this is my lovely daughter, Melody Schweiger, founder of Spirit Seekers, and we're ready to go. Mel, you got anything you want to join in with and talk about a little bit before we get started with the videos? And
Yeah, if anybody wants to check out my YouTube channel, Spirit Seekers, that would be great. I do have some real footage on there and real voices if you want to check that out.
yeah, real good evidence Mel has caught over the past few months and stuff. So yeah, you might want to check her channel on Spirit Seeker on YouTube. It's really cool. She's got some good videos. I love the abandoned school one, which is really cool. I got some good videos here to show. I got some videos from in the Clover Forest, and Kevin Thice narrated them for me, and show some of them, and then we'll move on to what is a leprechaun film, which is pretty cool. And maybe Mel, we can get into doing some of these investigations coming up here real soon. Do I look like my eyes are squinting?
No. How about me?
No, you got glasses on. I don't have my glasses on, so I don't know what I'm looking like here. I'm probably looking like I don't know, Elmer Fudd or something. It's not cool.
I
Oh,
pick on Jace that he looks like Mr. Magoo.
Mr. Magoo, that's what I was going to say. It's not funny. All right, Mel.
Oh, goodness.
Let's go ahead and show one of those videos from in the Clover Forest here, which is "Where Are You, Leprechaun?" I'm not sure if you've seen that one.
Steps in the garden, no streams of green, no rainbow over the hill away as I walk along the stone path. I can hear no little ones laugh. Where are you, leprechaun? Why have you gone away? I'll see you next year, if you can come out to play. To be continued.
Cool. You know it, Mel?
I like that.
I know. This is one of my favorite. The one of actually Becky's favorite ones right here. Shamrock Luck.
Luck. I carry a shamrock in my pocket, a red-haired lass, faded picture in a locket. Now, I'm too old to ride the rail like I did in the old days, but my memory will stay with me always. And all this green, I guess I'm stuck with shamrock luck. And sometimes I feel so old, always searching for that pot of gold. Looking back, I'm thankful much to be sprinkled with all that shamrock luck.
Very cool.
I know, and he did such a cool job with the accent, Kevin Thice.
Yeah.
I mean, he's awesome.
He did.
Did a good job. I was going to ask him when we did that. Did you get a chance to watch the show with Kevin Thice on here a couple days ago?
No, I didn't get a chance to yet.
It was pretty good, but he was having technical difficulties on his end in Chicago down there. But I showed some of his acting scenes and stuff like that. He said, "Where in the heck did you get them?" I said, "I found them. I got them." I showed him some of his own acting scenes there. He couldn't believe I had them.
That's cool.
All right, Mel, here's from in the Clover Forest.
The Clover Forest. In the Clover Forest lived a little old man. He waited and waited, but never found his pot of gold. There was a river flowing bright green, and the greenest fields I've ever seen. Flowers blew in the wind. The birds' song echoes through the trees. The clover fields would toss and sway. The rainbows would fill the sky all day. In the Clover Forest on this St. Patrick's Day.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
I like it. All right, now this is cool. This is what is a leprechaun video. It's pretty awesome. I'm not sure how long it is, Mel, but we'll talk about it after we watch it and check it out and comment on it. So here we go,
Okay.
Mel. All right.
Image of a diminutive man dressed in green, with a top hat, black buckled shoes, a green vest, and a four-leaf clover, has become, for better or worse, part of the global image of Ireland, danced out around St. Patrick's Day as a sanitized cultural symbol of Ireland and its people. And this is done to such a degree, at least in North America, that it can sometimes feel offensive. Often the leprechaun and the four-leaf clover is the only thing most people know about Irish folklore or Ireland in general. Yet for the widespread notoriety of this dwarfish creature, aside from standard tropes of hidden gold and rainbows, not so much is known about it. What is the true identity and origin of this tiny being transformed into a giant globalized brand? What really are leprechauns?
Mel, awesome.
It is very cool.
Now, most people throughout the world have heard of leprechauns. The little men have even invaded China and are frequently used as a symbol of Ireland by people around the world. This seems to have begun as early as the mid-1800s, with the intentional dissemination of Gaelic folklore in the Americas. In late Irish folklore, the leprechaun was a much larger player than his size would suggest, and it was in this late stage within the 19th century that he developed his stereotypical appearance, with his vest, buckled shoes, top hat. The style of clothing they are ascribed is down to the age in which the appearance was formulated, where writers or storytellers pictured them wearing clothing that was somewhat outdated but more or less contemporary. Older legends feature descriptions of medieval-style clothing, and so these particular details about the leprechaun can be dated within the modern period, but the leprechaun himself is far older. In the folklore, leprechauns are depicted as generally solitary pranksters, working on shoes and sometimes even being helpful to men. Though they often get up to mischief, it is not of the same order or kind as the fairies or the Dunashi, who are very often dangerous and sometimes lethal. Contrary to their depictions in the 20th century, earlier conceptions of the leprechaun were fairly consistent that he wore red. The color red may also connect him to the underworld, and with another similar creature, the Ferderg, the Red Man. William Allingham, born in 1824, wrote an interesting poem about the little fellows, part of which reads, "Tip-tap, rip-rap, tick-a-tack too, scarlet leather sewn together, this will make a shoe. Left, right, pull it tight, summer days are warm, underground in winter, laughing at the storm. Lay your ear close to the hill, do you not catch the tiny clamor? Busy click of an elfin hammer, voice of the leprechaun singing shrill, as he merrily plies his trade. He's a span and a quarter in height, get him in sight, hold him tight, and you're a made man." He was said to be the only truly industrious fairy, who is wealthy for all the shoes he would make, and his gold would be hoarded beneath the earth. If the leprechaun favored a person or family, he might help with the work, or he might willingly guide a person to their fortune. Failing this favor, the leprechaun could be caught, and in exchange for his life, he will grant his wealth. These details are more illustrative of the nature of the pre-Christian role of the leprechaun than might be assumed. The first known appearance in Irish myth of the leprechaun is to be found in the Shanhos Mór law book, which references a tale about Fergus MacLetty, and it is possible that this tale is an origin as old as the 9th century, perhaps even older.
Wow,
The
I didn't know
legendary
it goes back
king
that
falls
far. You
asleep
know?
near the sea and
No.
wakes to find himself being dragged into the ocean by several diminutive figures, identified as Lukorpan. He catches them in his hand before they can drag him in, and they beg for their lives. Fergus demands his 3 wishes from them in exchange for their lives. The idea of obtaining wishes from someone captured is not specific to leprechauns originally, but was a general practice that shows up in many tales. If a person holds an enemy's life in their hands, 3 wishes or demands can be made of them in exchange for their life. Fergus seeks from the Lukorpan the means to travel underwater, and they provide him with, depending on the version, either a hood, magic herbs, or magic shoes, which allow him to pass over and under the water. They then bring him to their abode beneath the sea, where he spends days with them. He is warned by them not to go beneath a particular lake, but after a while he ignores the warning, ending up disfigured from the sight of a terrible monster, which causes his mouth to move to the side of his face. In the later versions of this tale, the leprechauns are said to be smaller than dwarves, so small that they could stand on the hand of a dwarf. A humorous tale is told of how Essert, a leprechaun, dared to inform the king of the leprechauns, Euvdan, that there were men in Ireland bigger and stronger than they. He goes to meet Fergus MacLetty to prove it, and returns with a dwarf from his court, which seemed like a giant to the leprechauns, who were terrified of his size and strength. In this tale, Fergus ends up capturing the leprechaun king, who is shown to be extremely knowledgeable and not unfair. The leprechauns threaten to take the milk from the cows, to burn down the mills, to dirty the water, and to snip the ears from the corn if their king is not freed. Yet the only threat that frightens Fergus is the threat that the leprechauns will shave everyone's head bald. Finally, wishing to avoid conflict, Euvdan, the king of the leprechauns, offers Fergus his treasures, saying, "Take my spear, oh take my spear, Fergus, that has enemies in number. In battle it is a match for 100, and a king that holds it will have fortune among hostile spear points. Oh take my belt, gold and silver appertain to knowledge of it. Sickness will not lay hold on him that is encircled by it, nor on skin encompassed by my girdle. My cauldron, a special rare thing, though they were stones that should go into my cauldron, yet would it turn out meat befitting princes." He goes on to list a powerful sword, a shirt that fits anyone, a timpan, a needle, sheep that are eaten and revive the next day like the goats of Thor, his horse rod, and his magic shoes that take one over land and sea. This list is effectively a list of all the magical items in possession of the various gods. Lugh, for instance, was said to have the reviving goats as well as the spear, and the cauldron appears to be very similar to the cauldron of the Dagda. But this isn't the first time in myth that we see an offer like this with such a list of items. In a story about Cuchulainn, he is at the edge of the River Boyne, and he sees a tiny bronze boat moving down the river without the power of oars or a sail. A small dwarf is in the boat, which he takes up in his hand. The dwarf is identified as Shenvek, Little Old One, and in one version it also gives his name as Avkan, meaning dwarf, and this is the same Avkan who served as bard of Luglavada. The dwarf offers Cuchulainn his cloak and shirt, which fit anyone and protects from drowning, burning, and old age, and his shield and spear that will ensure him victory in battle. But then Cuchulainn notices he has a little harp, and Shenvek offers to play it for him, and he plays the 3 magical strands on the harp, which cause joy, sorrow, and sleep. When Cuchulainn succumbs to the magic, the dwarf escapes with a laugh. Though not called a leprechaun, Avkan's nature and offer of magical items after being caught is identical to that of the leprechaun in later stories. He is likewise associated with water and the sea. In another tale of Avkan, he brings a woman across the ocean from the other world, only for her to fall into the water and drown. Recall that the home of the leprechauns, in the earliest recorded source, is under the sea, and they attempt to drag Fergus beneath the sea, and grant him power to go under the water. This is representative of the power to travel between worlds, the underworld existing beneath the land and the water. So what does the name leprechaun itself mean? Early modern writers sometimes took the name to be derived from lu, meaning small, and corp, meaning body. However, a recent extensive study of the Old Irish language by scholars from Cambridge and Queen's University Belfast have found that the word is very likely borrowed from Latin, from a very unexpected source. Every February 15th in Rome, there was a festival called the Lupercalia. A group of young men served as priests called Luperci, and they would gather at the Lupercal cave at the base of the Palatine Hill in Rome, where Romulus and Remus were said to have been suckled by a she-wolf. There they make a sacrifice of a goat, and then make a thong of the flayed goat hide, and run naked through the streets of central Rome, circling the Palatine Hill, striking those that they come across with the thong. Being struck by the thong was thought to be good luck and bring fertility, and it was said that women would sometimes purposely line up in order to be hit by these men. Even after the banning of paganism in Rome, there is proof that the celebration continued at least 100 years later. For in 494 AD, the Pope denounced the practice. The Senate apparently resisted the move, saying that it was vital to Rome's safety and well-being, and were promptly mocked by the Pope Gelasius, and told to go run naked through the streets themselves then. What might any of this have to do with leprechauns? The Lupercalia was thought associated with Pan, or a local Roman manifestation of a similar deity. The name likely derives from lupus, wolf, but it's unlikely that this connection has anything to do with the leprechaun origin. More likely is that the early Irish Christians saw a similarity between this luck-bringing, fertility-bringing festival and the character of the leprechauns, who originally may simply have been a type of dwarf, or more specifically a subterranean but largely beneficent spirit which helps bring prosperity and fertility. There are many other such creatures known in other European folklore, and often they are represented as having a diminutive size and are solitary in nature. In some medieval sources, the Leucorpans show up as another name for Fomorians. As I have discussed in a video on the Fomorians, their name likely relates to beneath the sea, which is where our earliest tale of the Leucorpan and Fergus placed them. But it's doubtful that in origin they were the same as the Fomorians, but they are both likely associated with productive forces and the earth. The leprechaun is a figure who appears on the very individualized level, potentially bringing luck or wealth to the deserving or witty. His tendency towards shoemaking in later folklore may relate to his ability to travel or his tricky nature. In later versions of Fergus MacLetty, the leprechaun gives him magical shoes to be able to travel across the sea and land, and even beneath the water. Eventually they become represented as cobblers, but there is no idea of this in the earliest sources, though they are connected with magical items including shoes. It could also relate to a fairly common belief that the shoemaker is a tricky fellow. In Aesop's fables, there is a story told of Hermes. Zeus ordered Hermes to instill a dose of deceit in every craftsman. With a pestle and mortar, Hermes ground the drug into a fine powder, and after dividing it into equal portions, he began to apply it to each of the craftsmen. In the end, only the cobbler was left, and a great deal of the drug was still left over. So Hermes poured the entire contents of the mortar onto the cobbler. As a result, all craftsmen are liars, but cobblers are the worst of all. The tricky nature of the cobbler is upheld in Welsh myth, where Gwydion, a British god equated with Mercury, helps Say to acquire his name by disguising themselves as shoemakers to catch his mother Erenhrod off guard. Some have taken this example as evidence that Say is also Mercury, and that the leprechauns are associated with shoes because they are a folklore version of the god, Lugh, and then try to connect the name Lugh to the name Lugh-Corpan. Yet it is true that the leprechaun does have some similar features to the god Mercury, who is likewise related to Pan, possibly even originating as different names for the same god, as Pan comes from the Proto-Indo-European deity of the flocks and fields. Indeed, the leprechaun is seldom seen closer to the house and the garden, and is normally encountered out of doors, alongside fields or beneath trees. Now this brings us back to the notion that in a very early period, they were given a name borrowed from Latin to refer to a festival of fertility and good luck, the Lupercalia. Recall the line from the poem by William Allingham. Summer days are warm, underground in winter, laughing at the storm. It supports a notion of seasonality of the leprechaun as a being out and about during summer, but residing in the underworld in winter. And there is a similar thing said about the Orcadian Finfolk who live beneath the sea during the winter. This would likewise link them to the fertility of the land, and perhaps why they become associated so strongly with buried treasure. As spirits that take up residence in the land, they likewise possess the wealth contained in it, which perhaps relates again to the Fomorians, from whom the harvest must be won. To get the wealth, one must overcome its guardians. But in Irish myth, rather than a dragon guarding the gold, it's a leprechaun, who defeats the hopeful hero not with fire, but with tricks. Allingham says, 99 treasure crocks this keen miser fairy hath, hid in mountains, woods, and rocks, ruin and round towers, cave and rath, and where the cormorants build from times of old, guarded by him, each of them filled full to the brim with gold. There are many stories collected in the 19th century which attest to people having dreams of buried treasure and going out to these old places in search of it, and sometimes they claim to have actually found this treasure. These stories likely have a basis in reality, because many items of value were buried for thousands of years and are still sometimes stumbled upon by farmers in fields today who uncover old unknown grave sites. Nobody can say for sure how many priceless cultural artifacts were dug up in the early modern period by such treasure seekers and sold for a tiny fraction of their true value, or melted down. We know of a few lost artifacts, such as the Urnfield culture gold hat, which was taken to France and then disappeared, perhaps either stolen or sold, without wanting to admit it, but likely there were many other things plundered. There is even tales of this plundering in old Irish stories where the chain of Lugh was said to have been dug up from the mound of a giant in the presence of St. Patrick. In the same poem, Allingham goes further to connect the leprechauns with fertility, saying, "How would you like to roll in your carriage? Look for a duchess's daughter in marriage. Seize the shoemaker, then you may. Big boots a-hunting, sandals in the hall. White for a wedding feast, pink for a ball. This the way, that the way." The first usage of the name leprechaun in English was from a comedy published in 1604 called The the honest whore, where it says, "As for your Irish Leprechaun, that spirit, whom by preposterous charms thy lust hath raised, in a wrong circle." Clearly then, the leprechaun's powers were originally beyond the scope preserved in modern fairy tales of rainbows and pots of gold. Though the gold element is early, the rainbow element appears to be very modern, so that even folktales in the 19th century do not mention this. If they were connected to this power of fertility, it also supports the connection to the Lupercalia. This feature may have also been part of the identity of the dwarf god Avgan, the bard of Lugh. He sailed the goddess Ruath across the sea, as she desired to seduce Aeth Shronmar, meaning big nose. He was also said to have violated the goddess Edain, for which Angus MacOg killed him, and these tales do seem to connect him back to fertility in some fashion. So in origin, the leprechaun was very likely a spirit who was related to fertility and luck, and this was the basis for acquiring the name from the Luperci, who ran wild and naked through the streets, bestowing fertility and luck. Their activities may have been seasonal, following the fertile earth, living beneath the earth or sea during the winter, and emerging with the grass of spring. They act also as guardians of the wealth possessed by the land, which they try to hoard, a source of wealth that could be obtained by those who were exceptionally clever, which may relate to the shrewdness required to acquire wealth generally. In early modern folklore, they are non-violent spirits, with their tricks seldom ending in anything but embarrassment. Their nature may have been slightly sterner in archaic times, as their association with the Fomorians in some sources suggests, and other related creatures like the Ferderug can cause nightmares. Their first recorded appearance seemed to suggest that they tried to drown Fergus MacLetty. Whatever the case, they are spirits of production, and they open up the possibility of great wealth for the crafty, and tricks for the dim-witted. The wealth possessed in the land is watched over by them, and their fairy shoes they constantly forge have the power to cross between our world and the world of the spirits, sometimes represented as being beneath the earth, and at other times being beneath the water. They bring fertility and luck from the other world, perhaps without the need to get slapped by a goat thong by a Luperci priest. Well, I hope you liked the video, and if you did, you'll consider supporting me through Patreon or PayPal. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, stand tall.
It was definitely different.
Yeah, there's things in there I didn't realize. Anything about the water and the running nude through the fields.
Right? Me neither. Or the
I
different
didn't-
ways that they spelled the name.
No, yeah, Leprechaun,
Mm-hmm.
Leprechaun. 3-4 different ways to pronounce it. I didn't realize that either.
Me neither.
It's cool. I got my Luck of the Irish t-shirt on.
That's cool. I don't own any leprechaun stuff.
Oh, come on, Melody.
I
I had
know.
Just for this show, I put my Luck of the Irish t-shirt on. It's got a big Clover.
I love it.
I had to get it on there. Becky got that for me. But anyway, I got one more here. I got to go to my file to get, though. But I will grab it and we'll play it. Emerald Heart. You want to? Have you heard that one?
I don't know.
Emerald Heart. Let's dig it out of here.
Okay.
Emerald Heart. An old Celtic cross hangs on the wall as a warm spring breeze blows the waves to the shore, and the leaves are almost gone from the fall before. A new season is ready to start and brighten this old emerald heart. A herd of sheep graze in green fields away, Local fishermen will bring in their catch all day. Another bright day turns to dark. Life continues on for this old emerald heart.
Love it, Mel. Love it.
I do. I like it. Like it a lot.
There's so many of them. I can't get them all on here, but I tried to get the ones that, would go for St. Patrick's Day a little bit here. But I having a good time. And like I said, I was showing you those shamrocks or four-leaf clovers, but 20 years ago, if I can get this right, I gotta go over here. But look at how they're still green.
That's awesome.
They're still green from 20 years ago, Mel. Another card. Well, this one was almost perfect too. I put them in a card and I stapled them in there, and they've been sealed ever since.
Aw.
I have never gotten them out of there.
I'll have to do something like that because I'm good at finding four-leaf clovers.
I tell you, we were good that year. We found, I don't know how many of them, one right after another, and they just kept coming and kept coming. But so I just wanted to preserve them, and they've been in a Bible ever since. I haven't got them out. I figured I'd get them out for this episode because I thought it was a really, special episode. I love it so far. What do you think about what is a leprechaun? I didn't realize those facts.
Me neither. That's crazy. And they got to drive for something. Somebody had to see something somewhere in order to come up with all this information.
Yeah, I haven't really seen any little people or anything like that, but I've seen leaves rustle, and I've heard feet walking behind me, small, very tiny little feet, like a bunch. I think your uncle, Cully, has even heard stuff like that, but I haven't seen little people, no, but I have heard feet walking and stuff like that behind me. But I noticed they mentioned, I noticed they mentioned Leprechaun, the movie guy there, the movie Leprechaun, the mean one, the mean Leprechaun.
Oh, those are cool movies, though.
I got every one of them. Yeah, I got every one of them. Matter of fact,
cool.
All right, Mel, I got one last video to show on the Leprechaun movies. It's the 8-film collection video I did. I don't know if you've seen that one or not, with the autograph from Jennifer Aniston. All right, here we go. Welcome back to XFL Fan Schweiger's Den. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about the movie Leprechaun, and I have an 8-film collection here of Leprechaun. And the very first episode, starring Jennifer Aniston, which I have a signed photo of her here. If any of you are familiar with the Leprechaun series here, this is an 8-film collection. Which has the very first Leprechaun film with starring Jennifer Aniston. Then there's Leprechaun 2, Leprechaun 3, Leprechaun 4 in Space, Leprechaun in the Hood, Leprechaun Back to the Hood, Leprechaun Origins, and Leprechaun Returns. And there's the very first film starring Jennifer Aniston, which I think she did a very good job in that. The first Leprechaun, she starred in the comedy series Friends and other movies, and I wished I had I got that light in the car. Lionsgate
Mhm.
Home Entertainment DVD collection. Leprechaun Origins is really a good film. It was really Did you see that one,
Cool.
Mel?
I really
Leprechaun
liked that film a
Origins?
lot. I haven't seen that one.
Leprechaun Returns wasn't too bad. But if you really want to watch a really good bunch of episodes, or if you have all day to watch the Leprechaun film series, watch it, because I tell you, start with the very first one starring Jennifer Aniston, because it's really awesome. And I have a signed photo of Jennifer here. Oh, there goes my... Which this is a little bit later, after she starred in Leprechaun films and other films. Pretty cool. Ableton's photo signed by her. What do you think about that light in the background, that Shamrock
cool.
light melody? But
That's
I just
cool.
wanted to do an episode on the Leprechaun series. Very cool. I very entertained when I watched them. I loved the episodes, especially the very first one. But I just wanted to put this episode of Leprechaun. And next week, my episode, I'm going to be returning to The Crow. And the creator of The Crow, James O'Barr. I have some signed things from him. And some Crow trading cards that I'm going to be showing on that episode next week. So tune in. And if you like my episodes, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate everyone who subscribes to my channel. It keeps things going. And I have been trying for a long time to keep these things going. I probably got, over my channels, I have probably 200 or 300 videos that I've done. So I'm getting kind of a little bit tired here. But I'm going to continue going on with different episodes and covering the XFL and USFL a little bit here and there, and then with film autographs and DVD collections and stuff like that, and trading cards and unboxings. Maybe I have some new unboxings coming up down the road here. But this is XFL Fan Schweiger's Den, the Leprechaun episode, starring Jennifer Aniston, the first Leprechaun movie. Later, guys.
Yeah, I watched almost all up to like Return to the Hood, I think it was.
Yeah, I didn't care for Return to the Hood. Did you?
No, no.
Although I watched it, but I didn't really care for it too much.
So far, all the ones that I've seen, the first one was the best.
Yeah, I think my favorite one was Leprechaun in Space.
Okay.
That one, and the first one was good. And there's Leprechaun Returns, I believe, where it's not that old of one. That he's really mean in that one. Remember that one? He's really mean in that one. So that's But I'm sure this weekend they'll be playing some Leprechaun movies. Usually Saturday and Sunday they get heavy into them. I think they were playing some on one of those channels here tonight.
Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye open so I can watch some of them.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait. We could get back in our investigations. But this has been a good episode. What do you think, Mel?
I like it. Yeah, I know. I got to get some more stuff on my channels. It's just I don't have a lot of time to sit down and do everything that I want to do. You know, I'm trying to fit stuff in, and like you said, we need more material. And
Yeah, I know. I know, and it's the thing about it is you got to put 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos out, and if you don't, you start losing views. And at one
Yep.
point, I was putting like 6, 7 videos out a day at some point. Some of those, I just started getting tired. I said, no, I can't put that many videos out like that. So I started getting really tired, and I probably got now probably I don't know how many, probably almost 1,000, probably
Mhm.
somewhere around there.
Yeah. Let's say
But
hi.
hey, buddy, what are you doing? Are you watching this episode at all?
Yeah,
Have you seen any? Did you see about the leprechauns?
yeah,
What'd you think about them?
they were good.
Cool. I love them too. And I'm trying to think here. Yeah, hey, get a chance to watch that episode they did with Kevin Theist here a few days ago. Though it was pretty good, but he told me later that he had problems with his internet or something. I don't know what it was. It wasn't me this time. Now it was them. I had problems with mine. Then that was him. I seem to be crystal clear right now. I'm out with from where I'm looking from here. Look
Yep, you're
pretty good.
fine.
I think we're good. Holy shit! I had some awful problems with it. But anyway, we got some good stuff coming. When the weather changes, get these car in the garage and get that thing fixed. I got
Yeah,
3. Yeah, I listed.
our vehicle is pretty much done now. The next thing is the thermostat now.
Oh my
So hopefully
god.
after that it's done. It should last for a while.
Oh my god. That's what I said. Well, we got this one little thing, which I know what it is. It's the evap canister, which when we just put a new one on, and the guy told me that it probably froze up a little bit because when you get a new one, sometimes there's like a little finger in there that'll move the gas around. He said it probably
Mhm.
froze up. Just probably gonna unstick it, but that's all it is.
Huh.
And
Wow.
yeah, we're looking at 3 really good investigations I want to do over here to that jail, but you know what? She hasn't answered me back. I just emailed her again and nothing yet. She's slow though. She takes a little while to get back to you. And
Mhm.
then the Faint Go Island Inn and that Park View. And the Park View, I don't know what they're doing. I talked to one and then I talked to another one, and one says it's okay to come up, and another one says wait till a certain day. And that day comes, I get a hold of somebody else, and they say they're either too busy or you got to come on a day when they don't have a lot of customers and stuff. I said that's fine. So I gave him my number. Call me, man. I want to get up there.
Right. We should go back to Devil's Elbow again, do like a return investigation.
Yeah, and the owner wasn't there when I was there. That I got I told him the worker was there. I said I'd like to get back in the old tavern, and do an EVP session in there. Unlock the door and go in. But the owner has to give you, and he owns the garage that is right next door to the tavern there. So I think if we just drove up there and if he's there, just go in, ask him, say, look, we just want to go in for a half hour for EVP sessions or something. I think he would let us.
That would be cool. Definitely.
And on that one left-hand corner of the tavern is where that lady's skull was found, right in
Yeah.
there, right on
Yep.
that, yep, on that tavern. So you don't know what you're going to catch in there. You probably get some voices. We probably would. I would think we probably would in there.
You'll have to find that video. Didn't you catch eyes up there in the woods of Devil's Elbow?
Yeah, I have that video. I caught them and they're blinking. We got to go
Yeah,
back
we'll have to
to.
show that.
Yeah, that's what I think we'll do maybe here coming up until we can get some live investigations going. We'll show some, like maybe the best of our videos or the best of or something like that, greatest hits
Yeah.
or something like that. We'll show some of them, go back. I'll edit them. We'll see if we can get some of our evidence. Like that one there I have too, where I was in that one graveyard yard and I went back through it and you can hear a real deep growl.
That would be cool to hear.
Oh man, Mel, go back to, you'll see it. It's on one of those my videos on there. Oh my God, evidence review video, and my God, that growl was deep and very clear.
Yeah, just like that voice we caught when we were down at the cemetery by your house, and I
Yeah,
caught that woman's voice. That
yeah,
was awesome.
yeah. We did that one where you were getting the EVPs in there, and it says to be continued on that one video. So must be we were planning on returning.
Yeah, yep.
So we will return.
It
And
sounds like a plan.
you seem to
There's a
get,
couple places.
yeah, you seem to get a lot big response from her. With me, it's just angriness. She gets mean. Oh, and I always apologize when I'm in there. I don't do anything to the woman. I don't know why she's mean to me. I have no
Well, like you
idea.
said, you want to do unboxings. I think I'm going to do that too. I'm going to get some new equipment and do an
Yeah,
unboxing on my channel.
that's cool. And can't believe that. But when you do unboxing on your channel, sometimes they get 200 or 300 views and make more
Mm-hmm.
than an actual investigation. Believe it or not,
Yep, I
it's
believe it.
I can't believe everybody's being good. They're letting you have a really cool episode here.
Yeah, Jason, Toby are sleeping. This one is getting tired, so he's just kind of my buddy, just chill.
Oh, excuse me, Mel. Anyway,
Yeah,
I think this is a cool episode, and it's just the beginning. We're just getting started with this stuff. That's I want to try. Do you still have uh your movement light?
yes, I do.
You still got that?
Yep,
Solar. Yeah, we got to get that working again, and I want to get those glowing balls
yep.
and try to set them like we were talking earlier. I'd like to get back up to the Fainting Goat Island for one day, one night. Can you imagine
Yes.
what would happen up there? Oh my God, that place! You've never been in there, have you, Mel?
No, I haven't.
I'm telling you, that place has got some atmosphere. There's two skeletons in the little. There's a little bar as you come in the door, a little bar, and it has two big skeletons standing in the corner, and that's where Marnie, I guess the owner, she saw a ghost standing at the end of the bar there. So I don't know. And then there's a little 7-year-old boy who walks up and down the staircase. So I'd like to put those little balls on the staircase, and at the foot, right at the top of the staircase, there's an old doll that has been there since the 1700s or something like that, 1800s. It's been sitting there. It will laugh. It will move if you go by her at certain, times. So it's sitting right at the top of the stairs.
Yeah, there's I also have a pendulum that I'd like to use too that helps answer yes or no questions. I'd like to
Yeah,
start using that as well.
yeah. Becky's got a pendulum, a
Yep.
pink one, pink stone pendulum. Beck's got
Mine's
one.
mine's white.
Yeah, I've got tarot cards. I'm just learning how to read them tarot cards. Do you know how to read them yet?
No, I used to have some, but I think when my friend redid my apartment for me one day, I think she threw them away because she was a really Christian and she didn't like
Oh,
stuff like that. So I think she threw them out.
probably. I mean, tarot cards are just from like medieval times. They just, they used them to foresee battles if they would win a bat, and stuff like that. Well, Mel, what do you think? You want to get those guys getting ready to go to sleep and talk about our next investigation coming up? We become, getting
Sure.
back with everyone. So hopefully we'll get these next 3 coming. I got this one. There's a ruins next to the river where old man used to live there. He lived there all by himself, and the ruins are still there. And I think it's posted though. I think we would have to ask to go down in there, but I would love to do an EVP session there.
Yeah, that'd be awesome too.
Yeah,
Anything different, you know?
yeah, yep. All right then, Mel. I love you. Tell them guys I love them all. Tell John I love them.
I will
And
love you too.
Love
this
you.
I love you, buddy. And did you watch this episode all the way through?
Yeah.
Oh, good, man. It's a good one. Pretty good one, huh?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna let you get to sleep, bud. All right, Mel, I love you, and I'm gonna end
Love
the
you
stream.
too.
All right, I love
Oh.
you, and looking forward to now. We got to get back on schedule next Thursday.
Yes, we do.
All right,
All right. Love ya.
all right. I love you too. I'll see you. I'll get a hold of you. I'll send you the link next Thursday.
Okay.
All right, later. I love you, Mel.
All right. Later. Love you too.